Hi everyone, I am Amitesh at GetSetSQL, and in this video we will see what is triggers. So we will learn what is trigger, how it works, then what are the events on the basis of trigger executes, then we will see practical examples, and finally we will see how to alter, update and drop a trigger. But before starting, I would like to request you, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe this and press the bell icon so you can get the regular updates. I keep posting regular learning videos on my channel. So now let's start. Okay, so we will discuss first thing first, that what is trigger. Trigger is an event-driven T-SQL programming block. It runs automatically when a particular event occurs. So the trigger executes when a certain event occurs. It means we cannot explicitly execute the triggers, and it runs implicitly when a certain event occurs. In database, there are two different types of events. First one is DML event, where we manipulate the data, and second is data definition event, where we define objects in databases. So insert, update, delete. These are basically a DML command. So the trigger executes on these event is called DML trigger. In a similar way, we have create, alter and drop, which is basically a DDL command, and we create DDL trigger on these events. We can consider trigger as a watchman. The trigger basically sits over an object such as table, views, database, and keep watching the action performed on those objects. When a certain event occurs on that object for which the trigger is applied, then trigger fires automatically. Now let's see some basic practical example of it. So this is my sample database, and I have created a sample table. As you can see, employee, and this is the record below. So this employee table contains ID, first name, last name, birth date, marital status, income and education. And this table has somewhere 102 records. So total 102 rows this table contains. Okay. Now what we want to do, we want to track activity on this table. So whenever any insert statement performed on this table, then this action should be recorded, that who executed and what new record was inserted here. So for this I will create a audit table. This is a very simple table, name employee audit, and it has only ID column which will be fed from this table. Any new ID get inserted into the employee table, then this ID will be tracked here in employee audit table. And inserted by column will record that who inserted that record. So we'll create this table, employee underscore audit, and table is created. Now for tracking insert event or command on this table, we'll create a trigger. Trigger is very simple. As you can see the syntax here, create trigger, then trigger name on table name. So we are creating a trigger named trg underscore insert audit on employee table for insert. So here we want to capture the insert event on employee table, and the trigger name is trg underscore insert underscore audit. Now within begin and end block, we will write set of SQL statements to perform our action. So first of all, we'll declare an ID variable. Then we'll feed a ID value from inserted table into this variable. Here inserted is a magic table. This inserted table automatically track all the rows which is going to insert into this employee table. So this is a SQL Server internal working, that how magic table works, but this inserted is basically a magic table which is managed by SQL itself. So we'll insert the newly inserted ID column value into this variable, and finally we'll insert this ID value into this employee audit table. Also we are selecting a global variable here to insert the value, which is original underscore login. This global variable basically track the current user. So whoever the user is logged in and firing this insert statement will be traced using original underscore login function and will be inserted here. Finally, we will print this statement insert trigger executed just to confirm that trigger has been executed. So this is a simple trigger. I will create this. Trigger has created. Now let's perform some insert statement on employee table, and the new inserted ID should be tracked in this employee audit table. So I will insert a record here in employee table. I need to check number of column. Okay, so ID is an identity column. I'll not fill any value into this. Only first name, last name, birth date, marital status, income, education values. First name, let's say Jack Lee. Birth date, let's say 1990 0101. Marital status married, and education master. So this is the new record which will be inserting into employee table, and it will create a new ID for this row. Currently, if I see here, the maximum ID is 12001, and this employee table has currently no records. So employee audit has no records, and I'm going to insert a new row in employee table. Executed. Okay, sorry, I missed the income here. Okay, now if I execute this statement, you can see one row affected, and then insert trigger executed, and again one row affected. So we can see two rows has been affected. First we will see the employee table, and now a new row has been inserted here, 12002 Jack Lee, and that all information. Now let's check employee audit table. You can see that recent ID has been logged into this employee audit table, and also you can see my name, the machine name, and my login. So from which machine that user executed this command and what new row was inserted, both the information has been traced. So this way we can see this trigger executed automatically when a insert event occurred on this employee table. In the same way, we can capture other event as well. Let's say I want to safeguard this employee table from any deletion. It means no user should be allowed to delete any rows in employee table. So I will create a new trigger which will capture the delete event on this employee table and will roll back the action. So how we will do this? I have already written a trigger to just save the time. Okay, here is the example. So now this time I'm creating a new trigger, TRG delete rule, and this delete rule is applied on employee table and capturing delete event. Within begin and end block we are doing nothing but just roll back. So when this trigger execute, it will roll back all the commands which were execute just before executing the triggers. And finally, it will print a message in a decorative manner that you cannot delete record from this table. So let's create this trigger, and trigger created. Now if I try to delete record from employee table, what will happen? Delete from employee, and you can see trigger executed and it print the statement that you cannot delete records from the table, and everything rolled back. You can see the batch has been aborted, so everything has been rolled back. If I go back to employee table and check what happened, does this delete statement delete any rows? And you can see all the rows are yet as it is. So this is my DDL trigger example In this trigger you can see the syntax is almost same. Create trigger, then trigger name on database for create table. So create table is an event here. So whenever a create statement fires for creating a table, this trigger will work for SampleDB. So I'm currently on SampleDB database. So this trigger is applied on SampleDB. And what it will do, it will roll back the create statement and print that you are not allowed to create table. So if I execute this, the trigger has been created. Now let's say if I want to create a table here, table 1, ID column, int, a very simple table with single column, and I execute it. You can see the message reflects that you are not allowed to create table and then transaction aborted. So this way I cannot create a table due to this trigger that is sitting over the database and watching each create statement. And when the statement fires, it roll back everything and print this message. Now whatever the trigger you are creating, you can visit this here in drop down menu. So if I go to my SampleDB, programmability, and here database trigger, I will refresh this and you can see database trigger that I have just created is visible here. In the same way, for table level triggers, I need to go to tables. This is my employee table on which I created the trigger. So I need to go to triggers, refresh, and you can see delete rule and inserted audit, two triggers visible here. If I want to list down all my triggers, then here is the table sys.triggers. Simply by querying this table, I can list down all my triggers available here. So you can see we created 3 triggers and all these 3 triggers are available here. If I want to find the definition of the trigger, so that I can simply do by right clicking on the triggers and then modify. The second way is using table. So SQL module is a table which keeps the definition of all the triggers that you have created. But you need to find it using object ID. So I have a function object ID which resolve the ID of this trigger and will compare it with the object ID column. And this way I can find the definition of my trigger from SQL underscore modules table. Let me execute this and show the example. Here you can see the definition of the trigger and the object ID is given, which I have resolved using object ID function. Sometimes we need to disable the trigger. There is again a simple command, disable trigger, trigger name, and then the object on which that trigger is applied. So simply running this command, we either can disable or enable the trigger. But we must have to provide the object name on which the trigger is implemented. Finally, using drop command, you can drop all the triggers. Let me execute this and you can see the trigger has been dropped. So in this tutorial, we have seen everything about DDL trigger and DML trigger. I hope you will find it valuable. If yes, then please press the like button, and if no, then definitely let me know in the comments so I can improve further. And I will come soon with new interesting learning videos. Till then, please take care and keep learning. Thank you.